So, you've opened the secret passage, and as you peek through it, you find yourself in a very large room. A room that has water down under it. You're currently standing on what is kind of like a sort of balcony. Aside from that balcony, there's a lot of water all around. And in the middle of this pond of water is a small aisle on which there is a large stone altar. Everywhere on the ceiling, you see chains. Hey, oh. Hey. Hey. Gate.
Oh, there's the good boy.
The big Logov has appeared. He will devour all.
I am sure.
We love him. I want to kiss him on the nose.
Okay.
He's like a fox.
Oh, yes, absolutely, he is. So, back to business. Everywhere on the ceiling, there are chains hanging around. And on some of these chains, skeletons are hanging, entangling from them. To your right corner, yes, exactly here, there appears to be a break in the room, like a cave-in, that has not been there man-made, but rather erupted in some sort of way. And in that cave, you see a huge body assortment of bones lying on top of each other. All sorts of sizes of bones. Some small, some big. They all lie there on one big pile. To your left, you see a gate that blocks a way back into the place you were in before. And there seems to be a contraption, a wheel which you can turn to raise or lower the gate. Also, now that you're standing on this balcony, there are stairs that lead downwards and upwards from the water surface. And here you stand.
What's in the center?
There's a small aisle that is not underwater. All this grey stuff is water. There's a small aisle that is outside of that. And on that aisle is an altar. A sacrificial altar. A lot of chains hang above it, and it appears that perhaps sacrifices were hung above it to bleed onto it.
Can we see how deep the water is?
How do you want to see how deep the water is? You should be on the map, right? Yes.
Yeah, but can we just look down into the water?
The water is murky. You cannot discern how deep it is by looking.
That's at least a few feet.
Oh, it is very dirty.
I suppose it depends if we can see the skeletons in the water.
Oh no, the skeletons aren't in water. They are hanging from the ceiling on chains, to be clear. The only skeletons you see in the water is this one, and they're piled up.
I'm going to take the 6-inch mummy statue and I'm going to see how deep the water is. See if it's 6 inches deep.
So here's the thing. Right now you're standing on a sort of balcony. There's about 10 feet downwards for you to reach the water. This is how high up this balcony is.
This is why you have the 10-foot pole.
Even with that, you would need to reach and lie down. So either what you can do is jump right in or go down the stairs to try and get closer to it if you want to test it with this method of yours.
Is there any light sources in the...
Yes, actually, now that you mention it, on the walls here on this balcony and the opposing one, there are torches, all of which have a bluish tint on them as the flame burns. There's also a seemingly light source around here, but you have no idea where it comes from.
So nothing on the ceiling there.
No. Other than dead people and chains? No.
Anything that might look like an entrance on this balcony?
Hard to tell from so far away,
So,
Oh damn.
but nothing
Can
that
we
stands
get
out to you immediately. Yes?
can we get over here to this, balcony, Like, let me understand. Are there steps over here like this?
No.
Or like,
There's steps that lead down into the water here, and
Okay.
that lead back up onto the balcony here.
okay. Is there any way of knowing how deep the water is?
Is there any way in which you would like to figure out how deep the water is? Because there's a lot of ways.
Let me see.
Do the chains look particularly weak holding this skeleton up?
Not particularly weak nor particularly strong. They look old. Rusted even.
Alright. I mean, I could just keep firing fireballs at it until it decided to give way.
Alright, you want to try that?
Well, I want to see what everyone else has for ideas before I do that.
What did you want to do again?
Shoot firebolts at the chain until the skeleton dropped.
I see no reason why you shouldn't do that, so go ahead.
Alright. First firebolt.
Which skeleton? Alright. Yes, I won't make you roll for that. We'll assume eventually you hit it.
Hit it enough times.
And the chain snaps and it falls into the water. For a moment, it appears that because the skeleton was hanged upright by the hands, so as it falls down, it appears to fall into its corpse, and it appears that first there is some sort of resistance, as you can see from the chest up, as it sort of crawls up and then goes sideways and flows down. So it is clearly less deep than one person or one skeleton.
Okay, so about waist deep, maybe a little more. Okay.
As the plop is heard, you hear a loud sound and a bit of a rumble through the area.
Coming from the erupted wall or where?
It's coming from the large pile of bones. But as the room quiets down again and there's no more splashing from the falling, it quiets down. But now that you're actually paying attention to it and looking closely at it, the pile of bones rhythmically raises and lowers itself.
I think we found him.
Yeah.
What's the plan as you're all staring at this monstrosity, this pile of bones?
Does it appear to be breathing or sleeping? Can I sense its eyes on us or see them?
It is very hard to make out any creature itself. But in between... Actually, roll me a perception for this. Yes, in between the skeletons, you see a black, dark mass as well. You're not sure why exactly the skeletons would surround it. But it appears to be sleeping in this pile. Or at least resting, or something similar. Whatever it does, you cannot see any eyes or any other features, but there's definitely something there, and it is, as I said, rhythmically raising and lowering itself as if breathing slowly. Perhaps sleeping? For the moment, it seems quiet.
Do either of you want to turn back?
I think we've made it this far. This is as good a time as any. Maybe we can still get the drop on it, get the element of surprise. Doesn't seem to be moving.
Do we want to try to attack it? If that is Lorgoth, we might get away with just this rat.
I have a question. To our GM.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be possible for us to wall Lorgoth in this room and somehow get more water in here? You said there was a lever of some kind.
There is...
Did that control stairs?
What there is this wheel here, which raises and lowers the gates. But they are gates. They go through. So if and it would block out any water, it would certainly be able to come through anyway. Nor is there any other source of water you can see. Besides, if this really is Lorgoth, the Lorgoth we're talking about, the Lorgoth that you know from history... Well, first of all, that's a deity. Second of all, it does not need to breathe. This is all sorts of bad idea.
It is most certainly very much out of our league.
I believe we can take on a deity at level 2.
Nah, you sure about that?
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Oh yeah, I looked at my notes and I remembered what the hell Lorgoth is. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a moment you worried me.
I felt confident. Okay. Well,
Past tense.
I should have just made you roll an intelligence check and be like, that's a really dumb idea. Anyway, go on. What is your plan?
How much of a drop is it from the balcony to the water?
You know what? I said 10 feet. I'm gonna lower that. I'll just say 7 feet.
There are stairs.
There are stairs.
Yeah. I think Saban would go to the stairs, and before he hits the water, he would dip his sword in the water, just calmly move it around.
It is about waist deep, and you do not really find anything of interest or any resistance.
Yeah, mostly I'm wondering like how sensitive is that creature? Is it fine if there's just movement?
You do not hear anything.
Hmm.
So either it does not
I like.
notice, or the movement is too little to stir anything.
I raise the flat side of the sword and do a bit of a against the water surface.
How, how, how much power do you put into that pit?
Probably less than the skeleton would have caused, but
Okay.
enough to make a splash.
There is, again, a bit of a rumble, slower, quieter, but other than that, not much happening. This does not seem to be worth a reaction.
Are there any stairs to the altar?
Oh yes, absolutely. I should have described this more clearly. This aisle, from all sides, steps lead up to it. And these steps also seem to submerge into the water. It does not look like the water was always here. It looks more like this area somehow got flooded.
And the gate has holes in it.
Absolutely, it does.
Okay.
Not really big enough for a person, but big enough to look for it and reach your arm out.
Yeah. That's an interesting detail.
Well, it wouldn't really be much of a gate if you could just walk through it.
I was wondering, like, first when I heard, I was thinking it's a floodgate, but if it has holes, it ain't gonna do that. That's why I was asking.
I mean, if these people here knew as much about floodgates as they knew about the occult, it would make sense.
I suppose. I mean, the letter did say about something awakening and devouring us all, so not really keen on having this thing move anywhere. I'm gonna walk up back to Rika and Septimus, basically. Like, let's just talk very quietly. Rika, do you think there's anything special to the ritual besides breaking the amulet? Do we need to say something or?
I don't know. I haven't read anything specific about the ritual, so I wouldn't know.
You have the handout right there.
What?
You have the handout in the place if you want to read
Oh,
that, or
right.
what are you talking about?
I mean, that thing doesn't really mention anything. I'm just asking, like, Rika, like, how common is it in rituals that you need to cite something, or can you just do a thing?
Yeah, it doesn't say we need to do any ritual speaking or chanting. It just says we need to
Break the amulet
amulet
and offer a sacrifice.
to the Lord. Yes.
Yeah, I raised the rat.
Yeah.
It still hasn't gotten used to its new position.
Oh no, absolutely not.
How much is left of the other rat?
Oh, it hasn't eaten it. It had just killed it, presumably accidentally by just swiping around wildly and biting around wildly.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, has it bitten off parts of it?
It is a
By
bloody
accident.
mess. It is a bloody mess, but it's hard to say.
All right. Well, it sounds like you just have to go destroy the amulet on the altar and then give the animal
Sacrifice
to the
the
Lord.
rat. But if I need to sacrifice it to the Lord God without awakening it, should I kill it myself on the altar?
Maybe. You want a knife?
I have an axe.
I
If
have
you
a
have a
bone
knife, I
and
can
I have
take
a
it.
knife. I have a dagger with a rat skull as a pommel. I mean, I have some pretty good ritual knives.
And the rat skull pommeled one does sound thematically fitting. So
Just get it back to me afterwards.
yeah, Saban hands over his sword that's wrapped in a cloth. Keep this safe. I'll trade it back for you. But just in case, maybe stay in the door frame, uh, ready to run.
So, what is Septimus up to?
Well, I assume we're leaving. Septimus is gonna be following, Rika and Saban, and
No, Saban's gonna do the ritual.
in that case, Septimus is gonna stay close to Rika and kind of, well,
Rika's
his.
just Rika's in the
What is
next
he
room,
doing?
just looking in,
Looking into what?
looking, looking into. She's standing in the cell, looking back into the ritual room. She's not in the ritual room.
Okay, well, in that case, Septimus is gonna be in the ritual room, keeping an eye on Saban, but also staying close to Rika. And, well, he's not really doing anything. His arms are crossed. He has a very, disapproving and angry, expression on his face. His sword is drawn, and he's sneaking glances at Lorgoth in case it wakes up, I guess.
Okay, so you stand guard in case anything happens, but you remain at the
Yes.
exit. I see.
Yes.
Good, good.
Yeah. As for Saban, he's gonna keep the rat like high above the water as he enters it very slowly, trying to cause as little ripples as possible.
All right.
And with the rat, making sure that he doesn't raise his arm too much so the rat can bite him in the arm. So just kind of sticking.
The rat is still furious, but now I realize that it is held above water, it squirms less.
Good boy. Saban slowly enters the water.
Oh, he's starting to build up a relationship with the rat you're going to sacrifice. Oh.
Yes.
At least you haven't given it a name.
You make your way through the water. I would... And I wouldn't even make you roll a stealth check, because as long as you do so calmly,
Yeah, I do it like very slowly. And
there is nothing to worry about. You do make sounds, certainly, but nothing
Yeah.
very loud.
yeah. Very slow movements.
This
these
is,
skeletons
by the
wearing
way, this is, by the way, considered difficult terrain, just to be said.
Yeah. Okay. Are
You-
the skeletons wearing robes, by the way, or anything?
Some of them are, but most of them on the pile are white and clean.
Mm.
As you make your way to the altar, suddenly, robed figures appear on the balconies. The robes of the same robes you're wearing, cultist robes. Within their hoods, you see nothing, only darkness and eyes piercing you. All of them are looking.
I take out the amulet and
towards
hold
you.
it high. Show it.
And they start chanting. Lorgoth must be appeased. Lorgoth must be appeased. One must die. A sacrifice must be
Raise the
made.
rat. I raised the rat.
They continue chanting in the same way, waiting for you to do something. Waiting for you to fulfill the act. How does
No, they
Septimus
seem
react
to
to
be
this?
chanting it in the reverse order as to the letter. The letter said, destroy the amulet, and then sacrifice a creature. These things want a creature sacrificed, without really speaking about the amulet.
Yes. Septimus, you're muted, Leah? What is Septimus up to? There suddenly popped into existence three figures on the same balcony as you.
Well, he's gonna take like half a step back and, raise a sword, but unless the creature tries to slash him, he's not gonna do anything. He's waiting to see what Saban is
They do
gonna
not even acknowledge your presence. They stare towards the center.
Yeah. Saban kind of tries to get a response by lifting up the rat more, lifting up the amulet more, kind of seeing which one gets a
They
bigger
start
response.
chanting in unison. One must die. One must die. A sacrifice must be made. One must die. One must die. We want a race. Sorry, never mind that. One must die.
So Saban then puts the amulet back and just kind of has the rat on top of the altar, looking around.
It screams and squirms. It's starting to get a bad feeling about this.
Don't worry, little fella, soon it'll be all right.
Squirming increases.
So I put the amulet back. I take out the dagger with the rat skull on the end of it. And how sharp is it? Like, do I need to put the rat down on the altar, or can I just kind of slit it open?
The knife itself.
Yeah, how sharp is
The
it?
knife looks decently sharp, actually, considering everything. You would have expected it to be a bit more rusty, but that is not the case.
All right. In that case, I take a deep look at the rat in the eyes and try to calm it down.
It also looks into your eyes, begging for mercy.
Some say reincarnation is a thing, and with this, I'm sure you'll be reborn as something greater. I say as I put the knife into it and start sliding it down its abdomen,
All right. You start
lowering it on the altar as I
cutting it
finish the.
up, and as you finish up, the blood drizzles onto the altar and starts running around it.
Yeah.
The cultists around the rests stop their chants and go, "Yes!" in a unison, and then all of them disappear, satisfied with the sacrifice.
I then take out the amulet.
They did not seem to care about that.
Well, I hope they didn't trick me. I take out the amulet and I put that on the altar, like possibly close to the rat, close to the blood.
The amulet glows faintly.
Yeah. I then take out the axe, put the knife away, take out the axe, turn it around, and with the blunt end, just use a good old smithing strike on the amulet.
As you do, an explosion of light blinds you for a moment. For everyone that's not there and watching from afar, a big, purplish, bright light erupts from the center, engulfing your friend completely for a while. As it slowly fades away, he's left there standing. And the amulet is gone. Silence engulfs everything.
I look at
It's-
the thing over there.
Suddenly, you hear a rumbling. But its origin is not from here, rather, it is from above you. And it increases and becomes stronger.
And I start moving.
Yes, you can start moving.
Okay.
Okay, you start moving back. The rumbling increases and everything starts shaking more and more violently. Slowly, debris starts falling from the ceiling. You hear small and slower splish splashes all around. And slowly, well, they start to also gather the attention of something. Up until the point where a big piece of debris splashes into the water and the place starts to collapse in and of itself. It is at this moment where the pile of bones raises itself. And a big maw erupts as a lot of bones start falling backwards. Almost as if yawning, it erupts out, and a terrible scream and roar is to be heard everywhere, making everything shake even more. And you start to see what exactly this was all about. Yes. Well then, what's your plan?
Run.
Run, motherfucker.
Run.
Okay.
Run.
So, as you have decided to not fight it, we will go into a different screen, as this one is no longer necessary. So, you start running. You're all in a general close vicinity, as one of you had a good instinct of immediately trying to make their way back. But the being has noticed you. You start running. So, you start running back upwards, out of the chambers, right?
Yeah,
I want you
towards
all...
the tombs.
Okay, I want you all to make me an athletics roll. You can also decide to help each other out if you want, but at the risk of that, you need to roll with disadvantage. So you can all roll one after another and see each other's result and maybe decide to want to try and help somebody else out.
Okay. So we can roll and then see if someone fails. We
Yes.
can then try to pick them up. Okay.
Ooh.
Fuck you people.
Okay, so you were not...
Rika's not even really in the room, so...
To be fair, yeah, but still.
Okay. Saban, you kind of felt you knew where this was going. You had a general precognition. And the moment you realize what is happening, even though you already had a good idea what would happen soon as things start dropping, you rush for it. Since you rolled a natural 20, I give you a choice. You can make one of the others automatically succeed.
Rika is farther ahead in the way, right?
By 5 feet, so not by much, to be honest.
I also have a -1 because of those shades earlier.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
I
but
think you
Septimus
should
only has
do
a
it
plus
for
1. But yeah, but I think I am
Look.
gonna pull Rika. Can I make both of them succeed at the cost of me failing?
How would you do that? How would you go about that?
Basically, as I take the Russia bolt, since they're so close ahead, just kind of push them ahead.
Okay. You push them ahead, and they start making it to the stairs up into the earlier part, where we, before this session began. You start making it there, but the monster starts catching up on you. You thought that you perhaps would already be safe after going through the, well, quite small part of the small secret passage, but that was not the case, because as you were halfway through the dungeon, you looked around and you saw walls collapsing as a huge maw made its way and started tearing bricks apart as it rushes towards you. You start seeing why this thing is perhaps so scary. But while you've managed to push the others ahead, it catches up with you. And...
Throw the other dead rat in.
And,
How close is it? Can I use protection on him?
Yeah.
No.
do you...
Stay far away.
That is a good question. Do you decide to be with him? Do you decide to... Leah?
Yes.
So you decide to, after realizing that he's pushed you...
Wait. Before that, can I use second wind to re-roll athletics? Wait, not second wind. Action surge, I mean.
I'll allow it. Yes, that is interesting. Yes.
What did I miss? What did I miss? For fuck's sake.
He used action surge to try and get an additional turn to roll again. And you know what? I'll allow it.
All right. And now for the natural one. Yes.
Not great. So, sadly, it still catches up with you.
Yeah.
Septimus, after he pushed you forward, making sure you get through the stairs, do you decide to turn back after you realize that he is still left behind and the monster is catching up with him?
So one would say that I promised that you two would not suffer from this.
You know what? If I was a bit more cynical, then I would have been, yes, you know what? You chose this, you get to die, but I can't just leave you here to die. So, can I try to basically grab him and throw my shield between the monster's teeth.
Okay, so you're staying back and you are making sure that the attack does not hit. You try to protect
Yes.
him.
I'm not trying to put my I don't want to be holding the shield when it's going between the monster's teeth. I want to throw it in its mouth, basically.
Okay, I'll allow that. Desper, what is your AC?
Yes. 16.
Leah, against all odds, and I mean all odds, the monster charges forward, and you see how dangerous it is. AKA, you know how high its attack bonus is. It is so unlikely that you will be able to make a difference here. But in desperation, you chuck your shield at the monster. And just as its huge maw, which, by the way, outstretches the ceiling, as its teeth burrow itself through the ceiling, trying to snap at it, you throw your shield, and the shield redirects one of its giant teeth that was about to slam down on Saban. And you've just earned yourself a second chance. Both of you roll athletics again.
Fucking hell no!
Ah, there's the natural one.
Ooh, okay. So, first question. Where are you running to? Also, before I forget, let's actually start off with you up there. You're already at the top of the stairs. Where is Rika running to?
Well, first of all, fuck it, she's running to the tombs.
Okay, you're running to the tombs. Roll me an athletics just to see how much of a head start you'll get. Okay, well, in this case, it doesn't particularly matter because, well, it is preoccupied. But you make it to the tombs. Is anything...
Yeah, I want. Saban fucking did it. We may as well live with the consequences.
Okay, we'll get to that
I'm
later.
getting Rose.
Back to the two downstairs. So you basically start running up the stairs. Saban, you are not having a great time. Septimus, are you going to help him out? He's stumbling across the stairs. He is still shaken from this huge beast trying to shake him. Probably a little bit scared because, quite frankly, this was a horrifying sight. He had a very close death encounter right now.
Yeah, yes. Can I try to grab him by the arm and literally just drag him behind me?
Yes, you can, and by that give him advantage to his roll.
Yes. Do I have to roll athletics again?
No, because you already did, and the difference literally didn't make anything, so... Not to your situation anyway, but Saban can be saved, it seems. Saban, athletics. Okay, so... when I said advantage, I meant like advantage to the previous roll, but that works anyway because it is the first roll. You manage to get ahead, and as Septimus, you make it up the stairs, you pull Saban after you, and you, with all that force from the pull, he seems to get a good head start and keeps running. You're now at the back of everyone, and you run after him, and you all find yourself in the... You all find yourself in the tomb, where... Rika, what are you about to do?
I'm pulling Rose out.
Okay, I just want to stop here for a moment and say, whoever is planning on carrying Rose, make this decision now. It will obviously matter.
That's a bomb, because he has high athletics.
Yeah, plus, I suppose Saban would technically insist on that since it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
technically
He also
his
doesn't have a
responsibility.
choice.
you open the coffin.
Yeah.
Inside is in fact a quite looking alive Rose. Physical as well, so you can take her over your arm. It is at this point where through the ground in the dining room behind you bursts the maw again. And again it lets out this horrible screeching sound. If you're trying to visualize what I'm trying to say, basically it's a needle snuff from Monster Hunter, if you ever encounter that. But just bigger and scarier. And it starts charging at you. Roll athletics again.
Who would have thought?
Obviously, Saban with disadvantage. Unless somebody else wants to equal that disadvantage out for him.
God damn it, I'll grab the kid.
That's
Oh,
2 natural ones, technically almost in a row.
Okay, so as this all unfolds, Septimus, you are helping Saban? Actually, it's not going to make a difference from a disadvantage to an advantage. To a normal roll. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
afraid
getting
what
wrong,
you
so-
can do is grab the kid if you want to. Septimus.
I am grabbing Rose. I am literally throwing her over my shoulder like a sack of potatoes, and I am running for the hills.
She is not conscious to complain, so you're
I do
running.
not care.
So,
Van is pretty much delirious, so if possible, he would like to take out his itty bitty shield.
So, Rika, there's a saying, I don't have to outrun it, I just have to run faster than you. And this very much applies in this situation, as you are not really in danger, despite your not so great rolls. So just as you want to basically take the girl and run for it, you trip over the coffin, and you see your friends take everything and basically floor it. Some of them looking behind, making sure you're fine, but the beast caught up with you. And yeah, we'll see what happens from here. Just for curiosity, how much hit points do you have?
12 right now.
Wait, what's your max?
14.
Why did you dump Constitution?
That would make my to be 14 and 16 respectively, so not much of a difference.
As it comes for you,
The problem is that I had 2 negative stats.
as it comes for you, its jaw cleanse and jump down on you.
God damn. It's that much over my AC.
Oh, yes, it is. I don't even have to look at your AC, I'm afraid. You take 13 piercing damage. And you're currently...
At -1.
Yes. As you're currently...
Unless I use
you're
second
currently
wind.
bleeding out, and...
You can use it.
That's...
Right?
Technically not. I can use it to get 2 hit points, technically. So I would have 1 hit point left, but that would be...
It'd be something.
It stabbed you through your shoulder, and you're unconsciously hanging within its mouth. It has not devoured you yet, and it seems to go for the rest of your companions. Rika, Septimus.
I say when I feel it, I will try to say, but I did give you the breath.
Rika, Septimus, what do you do?
Gotta keep running. Gotta keep running.
You know what? Yes, we can maybe bait it upstairs.
Okay.
Maybe there's something we can do up there if we get Saban upstairs.
I mean, those are some pretty tall stairs.
Yeah, they do go up to the top floor.
Yeah.
So, as you keep running up, you hear a rumble beneath you, but then it stops. It does not seem to be interested in pursuing you further.
Wait, was the band still carrying the other dead rat?
Yes, I think. Unless he dropped it. Well, at this point he's dropped it either way, so...
I think I put it on the
but if
altar,
it dropped
yeah.
it inside its maw.
Mm-hmm. The main problem is he's currently hanging from one of its teeth.
True.
The only way to get him out alive is by getting close enough to those teeth.
Could I use acrobatics if I went down there, would I have a chance if I used acrobatics to leap in and grab Zaban out?
Yes, you would.
Okay,
Septimus?
this is Zaban, it's your own fucking fault, but I'm doing this for you.
Listen.
To be
My
fair, I rolled a
acrobatics-
goddamn nat 20.
Yes.
And
I
you
lost
both
the
failed.
I lost the shield to save you, okay?
I
You
just-
have nothing to say
I
to
just
me.
want to make sure when you
I
rolled
lost
that
myself to save you.
when you rolled that at 20, they both automatically succeeded. It's just that one of them decided to come back. Can't blame him, because that did end up rescuing you the first time.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, if they wouldn't have failed, my nat 20 would have made sure that I would
Okay.
have been fine.
But anyway, away from the past and blaming, what is happening now? You want to
Okay,
try and save them.
You said something about the acrobatics. How much acrobatics do you have, Chris?
I have a modifier of +3 to my acrobatics.
I have a +5. Do you want me to do it?
Oh yeah, you could. Yeah, you do it. Ha.
You know what? I'm gonna do
Give me
it.
the child. Give me the child.
I am going to put Rose in, Rika's arms, and Septimus is gonna look into Rika's eyes and tell her, even though I don't even think he believes it at this point, he's gonna say, "We're gonna get out of here," and he's going back for Saban. I'm gonna roll those acrobatics now.
Go ahead.
Please.
Oof,
That's a 21. That's a 20.
that is truly good.
That
Okay,
is a 21.
so okay, good news. So, down below, you see a open maw. One of the teeth has pierced him through the shoulder. You're trying to get him out of there. You're going to have to step into the maw itself. All around you, there's different teeth. And as you do, you grab him, and you actually manage to free him. You find yourself the strength to make a final jump out into freedom, not too far, and you realize the jaw is closing. It's trying to snap you shut, both together. In fact, now you're thinking about it, did it do it on purpose? Did it try to lure you in?
Well, it worked
And-
if it tried to do that.
Just as it does, I have two questions to you. What's your AC and what is your HP?
Okay, my AC is 17 and my HP is 16.
All right. Well, the bad news is, similarly, like before, they simply close far too quickly, and you take 14 piercing damage as they do, and they will tear.
Wait.
Yes.
I'll use Saban's sword to prop the mouth open.
You use what?
Saban's sword. He gave it to me. I'll use
Oh.
it to prop the mouth open.
Don't use my fucking sword.
You
I
get
think
in this mess.
priorities, right? Okay. So what are you doing? You're throwing it inside. What are you?
No, I run down and put it in to hold the mouth open.
Okay. You're trying to brute force it open.
To
No,
put it
basically,
in before it closes.
joke where a crocodile gets something between.
Yeah,
its
yeah, I
mouth
know.
and jaws, so-
But you're doing that
It
with
doesn't
just the
work
sword.
in real life.
I just
but
want to say again how giant this maw is and how small that sword is in comparison. Unless
Yeah,
you're
but
planning on
that's
standing
long,
there.
so
and-
just-
Why
Let's
don't
just
you
use it
try
there.
to? Why don't you try sending a fireball down its throat?
I can do you one better. I can do you one. Okay, fine, sure. Actually, why don't I just slap it with inflict wounds?
I mean, if you want to, sure. But that means you're getting into range of its maw? Is that what you're doing? Just making sure?
I'm not sure if you want
Yeah,
that.
no, I'm gonna guiding bolt that shit. Stay out of range.
Okay, so you're standing at the top of the stairs and you're guiding bolt down there. Sure, go
Down
ahead.
into its throat.
Okay. You do that. Anyway, back to yeah, you do that. You hit it. Sadly, not to great effect, but you hit it. Makes you feel better.
3 ones.
It makes you feel better.
3 ones.
Yes.
75%
Yes.
nat ones.
So,
Yes.
back to you. So as the jaws close, it simply happens way too quickly, and one of its teeth jams into your leg and tears some of its flesh off. As I've said, have I already told you the damage you take?
14.
You
Yes,
told me
40
I have
piercing.
2 HP left.
Yes, and I need you to make either one acrobatics or one athletics roll to get out of there quickly enough before it shuts completely and locks you inside.
Jesus Christ, this is terrible. I'm gonna go with acrobatics. There is no chance I can try to get Saban out of there with me.
There is.
But I'll.
If there is one other thing, if you want to only get yourself out or only Saban, you can roll with advantage.
No, don't. Just
I can't. I can't. Oh, fuck.
Or you roll normally and try to get both of you out.
Yeah, you're not gonna have disadvantage. You can basically
Yeah.
choose whether you use the first roll or the better roll.
Can I roll and then decide what I'm gonna do?
Absolutely not, no.
Please,
I'm
Dan.
sorry, no.
Desperate, I'm sorry, okay?
no. You're not leaving him behind, are you?
You wanna come down here in this mouth?
You have +5 in acrobatics. You're
What
not
does-
getting a disadvantage.
You know
by
what?
taking him with you.
Fuck it, okay, fuck it, I'll try, okay.
Give me
Fine.
Tell my fiance that I'm sorry, okay? What?
You know what? Hang on a second.
I don't even speak to her, no.
Hang on a
Do
second.
I have a fiance? Oh yeah, I do have a fiance.
Yeah,
actually.
Rika, remind me, what does Guiding Bolt do?
It makes it easier to hit the creature. I shot.
Has-
Don't you have a rope?
I do, in fact, have a rope.
Throw us the rope.
You know what? This is vague enough. I say because of your Guiding Bolt, the next interaction with it goes with advantage. Strictly speaking, it isn't an attack roll, but if you really want to look at it, it's kind of a grapple situation. I'll let it through. You're going to do this with advantage.
Me.
Yes.
Rika.
You. You're the person
Wait,
who's currently
okay.
doing this because of the Guiding Bolt.
I'm doing this. Gonna try to pull both me and Saban out and get as far away from the mouth as possible. Please.
I have advantage on this. You can do it. You can do it.
Thank God
Oh,
for the
yes.
advantage.
Thank God for the advantage.
Yeah, it's a 16.
Okay. Just as you go out, just as you make it, first, as you feel the tear of your flesh, this is basically the last power of your jump. If you fail this, you know you're not going to have the energy to make it out. You throw him as hard as possible up the stairs. Rika got him. He can't pursue you up there. You already know that, or at least he doesn't want to. And just as you do, you get there and you reach up to the stairs, some of them already destroyed. You're so close, and it seems like you're falling back. Rika, quickly, roll me athletics to try and catch her.
No,
She's
not
so
athletics.
close.
Not a can't be acrobatics.
Okay, or acrobatics, sure.
Yeah. Oh, please. Oh, for the love of God. Please. Yeah.
You manage! You grab her by the hand just in the last moment as she almost slips down. And you help Septimus up. He is now with you. You're all on the end of the stairs, very badly wounded. And the monster is down there. The maw, it's snapping shut and open. But does not pursue.
At what point should I start doing death saves?
I'm gonna pour a healing potion down.
Yeah, I'll
I also have a healing kit on my... Just so you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
but I
gonna
can
use-
also just get you up immediately.
I'm gonna use my second
Wait,
win right now.
Good idea.
This is a yeah. I think that's
Actually, I'm just gonna slap him with a cure wounds. So we can keep our potions.
Yeah.
okay. That's good.
Decent.
Yeah,
Wait.
it doesn't matter. It's 8. It's 8. It's just 8.
Nah. Well. The spawn gets up with a sudden gasp and a bolt upwards. Just look around.
Just to be
See what,
certain, while you are certainly there, the tremors haven't stopped. Everything is still shaking, and part of the stairs behind you are still collapsing. Well, it is certainly...
We would need to leave
We
as soon
gotta
as
go.
possible. Yeah,
We gotta go.
yeah.
Septimus
Devante.
gets it. No, keep going.
Septimus wanted to use the second wind? Do you...
I used it. I got 6 plus.
Oh, sorry,
yes,
I didn't see it. Never mind. Okay, good.
I have 10 HP. You know, growling and groaning in pain, he just kind of squeezes the bleeding flesh of his leg kind of back together, and well, it isn't healed, but it is gonna have to do for now. And as soon as he makes sure that everyone else can walk, he's picking up Rose again.
Once Saban gets up, he's also just gonna take Rose. Like, no, it's fine. You've done enough. I honestly thought you would have left me.
Thank me when we get out of here. Buy me a new shield. He's gonna pull Rika up then, and he's out of there. He's running up the stairs.
Okay, so
And we were running.
as you're running, you hear one last roar from down below you, but nothing further. The house continues shaking. You make it up your way, and
Saban does yell back, "Ungrateful bastard!"
as you slam open the secret door and find yourself in a mannequin room once again, everything has changed. The walls itself, they start deteriorating. Swarms of spiders flowing down from it.
Keep running, keep
Everything.
running. No
You
time
keep
to look
running,
around
and
all this.
everything in the house is seem to deteriorating faster and faster. Everything of it starts to look worse and worse. Even the first floor, which previously looked so noble-esque, is deteriorating so quickly. No more longer is there any lights on or any campfires burning. Everything looks aged, and it's continuing to age rapidly. Where do you run to?
We're
Just
running.
front door.
Front door. So
outside.
you run down the stairs. They crack beneath your feet, almost giving weight to you. You're afraid they might break beneath you, but they manage. And as you burst through the front door,
Yeah, Saban just basically carries the child out, almost on the shoulder, doing like 3-4 leaps of stairs at once.
as you burst out, you find yourself on the outside. You run a few more feet just to be safe that you're far away, and you are.
Run the direction where my mule used to
Yes. And you go through the front, you're out of the garden, you're standing in front of the gate where the walls were, where all the other buildings are. You are there, breathing heavily, puffing, and suddenly behind you, you hear a loud crashing sound and a rumbling and a burning, and the house is collapsing behind you. And just in a few seconds, complete house is sitting in ash, well, not ash, rubble and all sorts of things. It is completely broken.
That was kind of exciting.
Your steed is lying on the ground.
Wounded or
It does not appear to be wounded. However, it doesn't look very well either. On closer inspection, you find that it has no pulse. It appears to be dead. You find something else though as well, because on your steed is a basket with fruit in it and a bottle of wine, a gift basket, and in it is an envelope.
Alright, I pet Cynthia a couple of times and make sure, close its eyes.
Her eyes are closing.
Yeah. Like, it is just full on dead. I can't use the healer's kit on it.
You can certainly attempt it, or even a medicine check if you want to see what exactly happened here.
Yeah. I mean, like, how would that work? Because the healer's kit technically lets me stabilize a creature that has 0 hit points without needing to make a medicine check.
Okay, I'd say roll me a medicine check just to make sure that you actually know what happened here and to see if you can actually fix this.
Okay.
Because normally death is not something that
No.
can easily be cured with a healer's kit.
Yeah.
She seems dead. There is no wounds, there is nothing obvious, but yeah, she's just lying there in the dirt, dead. You're not quite sure what has happened to her.
I mean, it is a mule, so most likely died of shock. Gonna pet it a few times and thank her for being a good help. And I'm gonna open the envelope.
Alright, so you open...
I also, basically, I lay Rose, like against Sinfi.
Alright. You lay her down. She seems to be still unconscious. But, well, she's definitely more alive than before. So, here's a new thing, because I can't keep making them into pictures. I'm gonna post it as PDF, and I hope everyone is able to use that. Hopefully that works just as well. But, yeah, there is your newest handout. Who wants to read it?
I can read it. I look to the 2 or 3 of us technically, as Bass's character is somewhere.
Maybe we'll simply ignore his presence until it comes up and pretend he was always there. But right now he's not there.
Yeah. Dearest travelers, if you happen to read this, you have survived the death house. I congratulate you on this admittedly minor achievement of yours, and would like to welcome you to my gorgeous lands of Barovia. How I am aware it isn't the first time here for one of you, but I wish you an entertaining time here nonetheless, as you will spend the rest of your lives here. I ordered to secure your belongings here, however your steed had sadly passed away in the process of transport. It seems that it had died of fear and its heart gave out. Condolences on my behalf, but I hope it will not sour your time here too much. I do truly feel ashamed for the incompetent...
Handling.
I'm gonna point out that Strahd made a typo.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever.
Handling of my minions with your steed, but rest assured that they have been punished accordingly. You should find a gift basket nearby as a welcoming gift from me to you, with a personally handpicked wine from my collection as apology. You may confuse as such. I would like to forward you to the Bourgeois Master Barovia, as he should be able to explain you your current situation in further detail. As you will already be traveling there, I would like you to take the letter you find. What? Next to the basket, and bring it to the Bourgeois Master. He should be able to supply you with more information about my lands. I count on your integrity to not open the letter as you deliver it. Your new ruler, Strahd von Zarovitz. P.S. Send my best regards to Irene, should you meet her.
And in fact, there appears to be a second letter next to the gift basket. This one, however, has written on it Burgomaster Koliana.
Oh my god.
Huh. She was smaller than it appeared from the letter, apparently.
What the hell?
Though, I mean, that was probably the husband.
Maybe.
I mean, it was speaking of a he. So either child or husband, I would suppose.
Maybe.
But yeah, with that, Saban is gonna go over his stuff, make sure it's there, and he's gonna take off the rope, throw it, over the gate. And
you also notice at this point that there's a sign there. A wooden post sign.
Okay, what does that say?
It's a little bit overgrown with foliage, so it's hard to say right now. You would have to put it away first. But
okay, well, first I throw away the robe.
Okay, you throw away the robe.
And Yeah, I take off my cloak and wrap Rose in it, put her to rest nearby. I point the sign out to uh, Northern Shimmer and Rika, and I start skinning Sinfi.
Oof, okay. You start skinning Symphy, roll me survival for that. What do the other two want to do after this eventful...
Are you using the rat knife to skin Synth?
Either that or the sword. Do I need to? I have the Wanderer.
Oh, yeah, you know
Let's
what, in that
combine
case
two
I'll
stuff
let you do it.
automatically. Yeah. So I'm gonna harvest the skin and the meat from it.
Something else about all your belongings. I'll say it like this because I'll let you figure out the rest, but all your belongings look different. Aged, as if you hadn't seen them for centuries. Anything that could have rusted has rusted, and some of the things that could have broken have broken. Your rations, for example, might be unusable now.
The rations I was carrying, are they on?
Sorry?
I was carrying my ration.
No, not not yours. I'm just talking about the stuff on the horse.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Saban's stuff.
Yes.
Oh, that would include my rations, so I just.
But it's
get
nice of you to
those.
notice that, because all of the stuff that you gathered out of the house is also aging rapidly as you leave it. So once again, any gold...
What have we even taken out of the house?
Well,
The
I
robes.
remember some of you have taken jewelry and other stuff, but any metal that, for example, could rust has rusted. The only thing that this does not apply to is the silver swords. But, for example,
What
the
about
knife with the rat skull handling, for example, has rusted, and anything else has also aged rapidly. So, for example, that finger that was in Septimus's pocket has basically completely disappeared, and only bones remain.
The wooden coffin with the tongue is gone, probably.
Well, he's gonna throw the bones away. He doesn't need it anymore. And basically his head is in his hands at the moment.
Yeah. Some of you please check the sign. I
Is the iron pendant also rusted?
gonna prepare us some.
Sorry, what? Is
The
what?
iron pendant.
The iron pendant. Yes, but not unusable.
He's gonna go check the sign.
Okay, the sign, as you put away the foliage, says, Death House, do not speak with the children.
If only I'd seen this sooner. He's gonna kick the gate. And he's gonna go back to the group.
With a loud, the gate kicks open, clashes against the side, and returns.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Zaban. He was unconscious. Was he in how much of a shock? Did I manage to hold on to the small shield I had, or is that lost?
I'm going to have to say that it is lost. You dropped anything you had in your hands at that moment.
Alright.
I didn't lose my silver sword though, right?
No, as far as I know, you
No.
didn't.
Okay.
Zaban, I'm technically the only one who lost stuff.
Well, he no. Septimus did lose his
Thing.
shield.
Yeah.
The two notebooks of Elizabeth Durst, those are probably also...
Oh yeah, they do. They are no longer very readable. Actually, no, that's not entirely true. Although they age rapidly, and you should have to be very careful when turning pages, they are still there and readable. The same goes for all other paper you have with you. So the handouts you have, still readable. The same goes with the other documents you have, like the will for the house, the windmill, and this very crumbly residence.
Alright, I'll preserve the things I have as well as I can.
Yeah.
Septimus is very quiet and has his hands in his head in his hands.
Yeah, he's just kind of...
Perhaps somebody should check up on him.
Well, Zaban is gonna take a while skinning his mule, so.
What do you want from that? Leather or the food? Or
Food mostly,
Okay.
but I mean the hide also.
You can get that out of it. I would say you get 2 days worth of ration for food out of it.
All right.
But yeah, what is currently going through your characters' heads? What are they currently thinking? After this turn of events.
Well, currently he's in a state of what I call silent panic because the adrenaline has died down and
It's
the reality of what exactly just happened is really hitting him, that he came literally inches away from death and that something is going on and he's gotten himself involved in some occult business that he was not prepared for, and well, there's no other way to put it, he's scared.
this beast was certainly above everything else you've ever encountered. Perhaps the most
He
deadly
didn't
thing.
think he would survive. He doesn't know why he was so keen on, saving Saban. They were literally having a fight right before, they went inside that room about whether they should or shouldn't help the girl, but then,
Saban didn't exactly see it as a fight himself. Yeah.
well, it was a pretty big argument.
Now that you're outside as well, you realize that you have lost all sense of time while you were in there. It's still quite dark and you're not quite sure what time of day it is right now.
This is not helping his panic.
Yeah.
He's his head is in his hand and he's not talking.
Saban, while after he's done with the trickiest parts of the skinning, where he can look elsewhere, he's gonna occasionally takes looks at Rose and mostly trying to make sense of where exactly are we. What's the surroundings? Are we in the middle of a forest, or is there a road nearby? How well used would the road be?
You are, as you were before, on a road. Roll me a... Well, no, there's no perception necessary. This is clearly not where you entered this house. The
Yeah, I
trees
figured
look
as much.
different. They're different kinds. The road looks a little different as well, and the
Plus, this is
houses look differently built.
So we are still in the middle of many, like...
You're in the middle of a road,
residential.
and although similar, there's not as many residents around you, but all of them are abandoned as well. As you look to your left, you see a town further away, and a big castle looming over it in the distance.
Do I hear anything from the woods? Like, does there appear to be anything close or around us?
Roll me a perception. Perception or survival?
Survival. Well, I have the same in both, so... Survival. 11.
You don't hear that much. There is the occasionally scattering you hear, but you feel like that is from smaller forest critter and nothing too big to be worried about. What about Rika? What is she thinking?
Rika is organizing everything in her head, like thinking about everything they still have, mentally putting it away in different areas, organizing her thoughts. But after a while, she's gonna sit down next to Septimus. Just lean a little bit closer to him, just being there.
All he does is exhale. He doesn't, raise his head, but the exhale is one of, gratitude. He's not saying it with words, but that exhale was gratitude. I didn't think I'd make it out for a while there.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like yeah, certainly was a close one.
I really thought I was gonna die. I really thought it was over. And I can't die. Not yet, not like this, not. He's gonna raise his head and he's gonna look around him, and this is gonna be the first time that he looks at the castle and the town.
You do not recognize this as your city. This is not the place where you've grown up. You're somewhere else.
Well, he's ripping off the cultist robe off him, and he's throwing it back into, the rumbles of the house.
It lands and remains there. Eventually, the wind picks it up and it is carried over through the garden before laying itself down again.
Mika takes hers off and folds it and puts it into her bag.
So this is Barovia.
Seems so.
How the hell did we go back?
I don't know. I don't know. It maybe that Strahd guy knows something, knows a way.
Septimus is gonna put his head back in his hands and say, maybe you should go check on Saban. He doesn't seem to be doing very well either.
Skinning his mule with an axe.
I think Saban's fine.
How long is
I'm
it
sorry.
gonna take?
Oh, you're done
Keep
by
it.
now. Sorry.
Okay. In that case, Saban is basically gonna put the meat inside the hide, wrap it up, and come with that over to the group, over to Septimus and Rika. Thank you.
He just kind of, waves his hand. You'd have done the same for me, at least. I want to think so.
I would have, but I did tell you that I'll be taking full responsibility from that, whatever happens. So.
Septimus is gonna look up at Saban and say, I actually mourned you when I thought you were dead. I wasn't about to do it for real. I couldn't have left you in there.
Well, I'm sorry for the trouble I keep causing. I have some meat from the mule, and We have the gift basket of our benefactor, whoever he is. There is a town. We head up, but I really don't know what to expect. I don't seem to hear any bigger creatures around us at the very least. So
It is at this point that you hear the
But-
howling of wolves in the distance.
Well,
well,
maybe
yes,
should
we
take-
need to go to town. Preferably fast, because they're probably smelling Sylphie.
I'm sorry about your steed.
Well, I never rode it, so it's not exactly a steed, but yes, thank you.
We should get your protege someplace safe. We should all get someplace safe.
Be safe from the wolves. Town is the safest place for that. Then there is the question of how safe is the town itself. That does seem to be our best direction for now. The barn does seem like a bit thrown off, and as he takes out his pipe, starts filling it up, you can see his hands are shaking a little bit.
Septimus is kind of sitting down like a rag doll. His hands are on his, his knees, and he's looking down. He seems like all the energy and all the life has been punched out of him. The reality that he literally almost didn't make it out alive from that basement is really, really doing wonders on him.
You also find 2 potions of healing in the basket, by the way.
All right. I would have taken one of them, and I give the other one to Septimus, I think.
Actually, how does Rika look? Is she healthy? Does she have HP?
She looks a little scratched up, but she otherwise looks alright.
In that case, Septimus is gonna take the potion, nod a thank you to Saban, but put it in his pocket. He's very suspicious of anything that comes out of that basket that was given to them by this person that seems to have a hand in anything that goes wrong in this place. Can we please just go?
Yes, like I said, that's for the best. The wolves are smelling the carcass, so it's not a good idea to stay for much. I don't want to see how big the wolves around here are, not in my current state.
Alright. Septimus is gonna stand up. He's gonna throw his his hood over his head, and he's, striding off. He doesn't seem to be in a very talkative or very camaraderie mood. He just seems to want to be alone. But in walking away, he assumes people will follow.
Yeah. Saban takes his backpack and stuff that was on the mule and puts them on his back. He puts his bow, takes a bow from the mule and puts it on his shoulder from the string. Hangs the quiver by his belt. Perhaps he asks Rika for his sword back.
She hands it back to him.
Yeah. He wraps the cloth off from around it, takes a look at it, wraps it back, places it under his cloak so it can't be seen, and goes. Oh, wait, no, he doesn't have the cloak on, so just takes it to his side and goes to Rose to pick her up and basically carry her with one arm while she's still wrapped with the cloak. So people can actually see Saban's eyes.
And so you start walking along the road.